So some of the most commonly asked questions, if you're considering a Tesla or you're a soon-to-be owner, I'm actually here with my twin brother, Mike. He is the owner of the channel Your Driver Mike. So if you're trying to save up that $4,500 for your Tesla, go check out his channel. It's all about making money on a side hustle. He's gonna teach you the ropes. But we're gonna go over the most frequently asked questions. And Mike, thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Pretty cool to be here. We got a lot to talk about here, and we'll just start it off.
Absolutely. So we're going to go into the first impressions of the standard range Model 3, the standard range plus, which is the model I have. So here's some actual footage the very first time that we drove it. And I can just tell you the performance blew me away. It really literally will blow you back in your seat, push you back like a roller coaster. And the quality and the finishes, it really impressed me.
Yeah, I remember this was the first time taking it on the road here shortly after delivery. So, I mean, you came from the Jeep Compass. I'll give you my impression because I've driven it a little bit. So what was your first impression coming from the Compass and feeling that instant torque?
Absolutely. So if you're considering switching from an ICE vehicle to an EV, specifically a Tesla, it is night and day, especially when you talk about performance. It is very quick on the road, very smooth, and this is the refreshed model. So if you're thinking about a Tesla, you're going to get all the upgrades, including the double pane glass on the front windows. And the interior noise is really comfortable, it's really quiet, but the car is really smooth.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, my biggest surprise here, just to kind of give my feedback here is, I mean, I remember on that drive, we were all, because you were with your wife, and we were all blown away of how crazy that instant torque was. And, you know, we have some shots here of you setting it up, but you do have the double pane glass because you do have the updated model here, so that's pretty neat. What was the biggest surprise? Because again, this is a video from you actually setting up the car. Moving from that Jeep Compass, what was I mean, just think back to that delivery day in the first week of driving. What was your biggest surprise?
Yeah, honestly, seeing it in person is way different than seeing it on a video. And check out my 1 month reaction. We go into a deep dive more into my initial thoughts. But when you open the door and you get in that Tesla and you hit the pedal for the first time, the seats are amazing. The finishes on the dash and the screen, you really get used to it fairly quickly.
You mentioned you can actually keep up with traffic now because you have the acceleration of the Model 3. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my ICE vehicle, my Jeep Compass was absolutely dreadful, the performance-wise.
You know what else is, well, I'll give you my first take here, folks. You know, I'm actually looking at Tesla. We're going to go over that here in a second. I appreciate you watching, by the way. Definitely subscribe to Matt's channel here, Frank the Trunk, get a lot of updates on the Model 3 and more. But my biggest surprise, probably that. I mean, honestly, the acceleration, I mean, it blew, and this is the standard model. This isn't even the performance. It was crazy, the instant torque. And again, all of us in the vehicle, even with the weight of 3 people, I mean, it was pretty astounding here. Talk about another surprise here, the current lead time. So what's the current lead time? It is kind of surprising.
Yeah, so the current lead times, at least for the standard range plus, now these vary if you're going to get the performance or the long range or the Y, but if you're just trying to get into the standard range plus, as of October 2021, you're looking at March 2022. Now there's been some changes. So like Mike said, subscribe to the channel, changes to the battery, changes to delivery times if you want that updated battery. And we'll get into that in other videos. But for the base model, you're looking at March. So a pretty long wait.
Yeah, and I guess, folks, I'll just tell you at this point, right now I am looking at the Performance Model Y. So we're going to feature that, of course, right here on the channel. Really exciting, you know, doing some, actually, you know, well, let's just talk about it right now. I mean, just the differences. So you're starting a new family, pretty exciting. You know, you got the wife, you got, you know, your first child. I know you're thinking about the Model Y. I mean, you talked about this in your regrets video. We'll leave it linked above. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. So do you see yourself owning a Model Y in the future? Would you stretch to the Model X? Would you go Cybertruck? I mean, where are you, specifically with the Model Y, I'd say?
Yeah, so here's some advice, and I thought about this. This is not in my regrets video, but do check that out. I would 100% recommend test driving the Tesla because it just might feel right being in that larger car. But the Model 3 being a sedan, it's equally as impressive. But now if you have a family, like Mike said, we just had our first, he's about 2 months old, very excited, but we have with a car seat in there, it's more than enough space in my opinion. With the trunk, with the frunk, there's plenty of space for the normal daily driver, and I have poles on the channel, most of you are looking at the Model 3. Most of you are looking at this car as a daily driver. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you do have kids, if you're worried about storage, in my opinion, there's plenty of all of that in the Model 3.
So I know, and obviously I subscribe to your channel, so I see what you're posting and surveys, what have you. So I know you're asking everyone, you know, what vehicle they're looking at. Obviously the Model 3 is very popular. The Model Y, that's what I'm looking at here. So you've owned the Model 3 for 2 months, a little over 2 months. What are your thoughts? Because you talked about this after 1 month. Anything changed with 2 months? How's it been for you, month two?
Right. So not a lot has changed, but there's some major things, my initial thoughts on that 1 month video. And could I see myself driving a Model Y? Yes, down the road because of the range mostly and the space. I mean, you have that hatchback that opens nice and tall. You can fit a lot taller items in the trunk. But all in all, I think that my initial impressions were to protect the car with floor mats, with PPF, which is paint protection film. Some of those protective measures are in my description. There's tons of accessories. Check that out because you really want to protect the paint. Tesla sells a paint protection film for the side of your car. Some of it you have to pay on your own if you want to get the hood done, what have you. But you want to get those floor mats to protect the carpet. All in all, it holds it pretty well. I would say that.
So I was going to ask you, because I am looking at the Y, you know, coming in the spring here. What is, and folks, definitely click that link down below. Check out the links for the accessories down there. Those are the true vetted products. If I'm a new owner, which I will be, what are the must-have accessories? Just give me like 1, 2, 3. What are some of the big accessories I should have?
Yeah, so in my opinion, I think all of your technology lies behind that screen. And I know some people think, well, should I really get a screen protector? It's not like my phone where I'm just gonna drop it. Well, what if you're loading your car and you accidentally bump the screen and it just takes one mistake? And even though these mistakes might not seem that they're gonna happen, but when they happen, you want a screen protector. The SpyGen screen protector is the top selling screen protector on Amazon. It's a one-click link and you'll have that. The floor mats, if you live in an area with snow or a lot of rain like we do here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you want that on day one because we got the car and it was raining on that day and you don't want to be carrying all this mud if you have kids, worried about spilled drinks. The link is in the description for the floor mats and you'll get every single floor mat from the front to the trunk and everything in between. And lastly, if you're a content creator, if you want your eyes up whenever you're driving, I think a phone holder helps a lot. Now the GPS on the Tesla is absolutely astounding. A phone holder is great. There's so many other accessories, so check out the full list, but those are some of the basics. And also a USB-C charger, because that's now in your car. You have 4 USB-C charging ports.
Yeah, I've already been looking at accessories, you know, again, looking at the Performance Y in the springtime here. So, I mean, any final thoughts, you know, we're just briefly, and again, tons more to come on the Model Y versus, you know, the Model 3. Different use cases, of course, different price points, but a lot of similarities. I mean, they share a good amount of parts, even a whole lot of, like 67%, 70% of parts there. So what would you tell a new owner? Because obviously I'm looking at the Y in the springtime. I mean, Y performance, we're definitely going to have a lot more content, you know, measuring up those vehicles. So the accessories, absolutely. Again, I'm looking at the accessories. I see how valuable they are to you. Different use cases with different vehicles. But, you know, if you're watching this, if you're a prospective owner, a new owner, you know, what have you, and definitely drop a like if you get value from what Matt brings you here. What would you tell those prospective or new owners? Because again, you're 2 months in, you're thousands of miles in. Any other kind of final thoughts?
Absolutely. I would say if you're, when you're speccing out your new Tesla, so if you're watching your new prospective owner, just go for it. I think when it comes to color, when it comes to finishes, if you want the upgraded wheels, if you want the red, if you want the blue color, I mean, yes, it's $1,000 up front. It's a lot of money. If you have the car over 5, 8, 9, 10 years though, you know, the effect to your monthly payment, I think, is $15. And I was playing around with the specs the other day. You know, Mike said some of the regrets I mentioned in my previous videos, the white seats, maybe getting a different color. I love the white. It's the most common color. But if you're feeling bold and you want that red, I would say go for it. The savings that you have on fueling an ICE vehicle versus the Tesla is really significant in my opinion. Now, it really depends on the person when you're talking about insurance changes and how much cost am I going to, is my insurance going to go up? I would encourage you to shop around. But if it's $15 extra a month to get red and you really want red, you're going to have it for years. I would say go for it.
Well, you're going to have that color. You're going to be living with that color every day. You don't want to have buyer's remorse. Real quick, PPF, if you can afford it, should you get it?
So I think PPF is good if you can afford it. Now, I'll just say this. Again, this is not on any single video. I got a quote, and this is just one quote. And they're a very good company here in Pittsburgh, just for my hood, and it's a very intricate area, okay? $600. $600. Okay. Now, again, over the life of your vehicle, PPF protects scratches, dings from small pebbles and things, and it'll absorb the impact and actually heal itself. It's a whole amazing product, and it's a top-of-the-line product. Usually they're installing Expel.
I was going to say, is this the Expel rather, yeah.
Right, so it might sound a lot, but again, if you're having it for years and you can save up for that, good thing to do the very beginning that you take your car, so you avoid some of the dings, which I actually already have.
Would that be the nose as well as the side skirting of the front, and then just excluding the hood, right? For $600.
Right.
Well, I think that's pretty, again, there's a lot of different budgets, and I want one more question here. The self-driving subscription model just came out recently. It's $199. You can cancel at any time. Do you see any value in that? The auto lane change summon, which is arguably a little bit buggy. Would you spend $199 even just to try it? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I honestly, in my opinion, I've had enough value out of the autopilot, which is amazing. Again, if you're a new prospective owner, if you're watching and thinking, should I buy a Tesla? Is autopilot accurate? Can I rely on it? If you have a rush hour commute, if you drive any bit on the highway, that kind of mundane driving, you can relax. Put on that autopilot. You can literally sit back in your car. Now you do have to have a hand on the wheel, ready to intervene if you have to. But it is so much easier to drive with autopilot in that stop and go driving that's mind numbing. That's been great. I mean, I don't need automatic lane change. It's great. I might try it for $200, but again, for $200 every single month, that's a little too much for me. But autopilot is more than comparable. Yeah,
I mean, just the capabilities. I've been in the vehicle when you've used autopilot. I can imagine on your daily commute, or if you have an exceptionally long commute, folks. Super, and it comes standard, which is astounding. It comes standard autopilot. That's pretty a nice feature to have.
So some of the most frequently asked questions and things people want to know, I would recommend, again, you got to put down around $4,500. Check out my twin brother's channel. He has 55,000 drivers out there that do side gig like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. If you're trying to save up money for your brand new Tesla, check out his channel. So we thank him for being here. And more content coming very soon. So drop a like if you do like this content, and make sure to subscribe and click or tap the screen here for a recommended video by YouTube. And we will see you in the next one.